Hey guys, today we take a look at the Galaxy Watch 7, and I want to jump into a lot of the day-to-day kind of questions you might have for this baby. Is it worth the jump? Are you using an older Galaxy Watch and you're debating, should I get, like, for example, I'm going from the 4 to the Galaxy Watch 7. Is that worth your while? So I want to take a look at that for you. Are the features upgrade worthy? Like, is there a point in me jumping and spending hard-earned money on this? Especially depends on where you're at. I mean, I know in the States, you guys generally have pretty solid trade-ins for options even as far back as the Galaxy Watch 4. I don't know what they are right now, but I've seen some pretty deep discounts on that end. On the Canadian side, they literally give you $0. I actually went to the effort of putting it all in and you actually get $0 for the trade-in. So I still have it. So I can give you a nice side by side here. I did not need to trade it in. So today we're going to take a look at, is it worth your while? Is the battery life actually better? Is it faster, smoother? Is there any weird little glitches that I'm encountering? Are there, how are the sensors? How is the vibration modes? How's the tracking? How's the auto tracking? All that kind of stuff. I just want to take a look at the day to day for you because obviously you can jump in to see rundown metrics and whatever if you want somebody to do a side by side and whatever. I'm just going to let you know what it's like having it as a day to day daily driver, using it as your kind of average Joe would. So here we are, side by side, very, very similar. We got like the 44 millimeter for both, right? So same bands, overall feel like you got the little ribbing of the band that comes and then your nice little like stitching that they've added on this here for the new one. But otherwise, very, very similar size and very, very similar style outside of the rear appearance. It's very, very close between the two. Not a crazy difference there whatsoever. Weight is very similar as well. I do find a few of the things that I'm really enjoying about the watch itself. I find that the buttons on the side, these guys here, mine were getting like, I don't know whether it was just over time, but I find like the clickiness was getting really weak. And they're maybe it's just because they're like a little bit more recessed, not fully recessed, but slightly in more. Whereas these I do find give a nice click. I don't find I'm accidentally clicking them. I do wear it where it's the button is in. So I do one of these and my wrist here is where it would hit and it isn't hitting any of the buttons. I do find that I get a little bit of soreness sometimes in my wrist if I'm wearing a watch that has a large crown. It kind of pokes in and it kind of hurts. I'm not getting any of that. It's been great for that. No issues on that front. That said, I had no issues on that one, but it is nice to get that extra click on the buttons. The feel feels really nice. It's a good clean feel on it as well there. As far as tracking goes, solid. I do find the auto fitness tracking kicks on a lot faster and smoother than it did previously with the 4. So maybe that's just like the sensors themselves difference there or the software combining with that, which is great. I do find that I have a habit of walking when I'm talking on the phone and I do get a kick on for like a walk auto tracking feature, which is great just for those extra seconds where I forget to like throw it on a workout. I mean, there's no point in even doing a workout if you're not actually tracking it. What's the point of going for a walk unless you get some data, right? So it is really good for that. I do use it regularly for the blood pressure, and obviously I think that's all region dependent. Canadian side, we're fine. It's good to go. That said, you are looking at being pretty eco-locked Samsung. Like, so I obviously, you'll see the review here. I think I'm going to probably put out before this, but I use the Z Flip 6. And for that, I'm kind of in the ecosystem. But prior to that, I did have my Galaxy Watch 4 and I used the Pixel Watch because prior to this Samsung, I had been using the the Pixel 7 Pro. And I did find there were limitations, obviously ECG, the sleep apnea, and I think the blood pressure, like a lot of the heart rate stuff, a lot of it is tied to the Samsung ecosystem. Even if you download, obviously, like the Samsung stuff, it's still an issue. There is workarounds. I'm not going to kind of get into those. You can kind of look them up if you want. There is workarounds for it. Again, kind of similar how I am with everything. Like, I just don't care enough to do that. I would, maybe dig into it if it was a huge issue. But at the end of the day, I kind of just want to like utilize the ecosystem that I'm buying the products for. And I don't really feel like wasting like my precious time on like kind of digging into like third party annoying methods of making stuff work. I just probably won't bother if I'm being completely honest with you. And so if that's your type of personality, then we fit. I mean, I'm again techie, but I don't care to waste my extra time on doing that kind of tech stuff. I'd rather do other things with my little bit of time I have while the kids aren't awake and yelling and work and everything else. So this guy here I got right around Father's Day thanks to my wife, which is how I get almost all of my technology. And so I've been using it for a few weeks now. I will say the battery life, it's kind of something that I saw hit and miss, whether you're doing your research on Reddit or digging through Google and whatever. A lot of the reviews were back from 2024, which I didn't love because obviously I'm buying this thing mid 2025, so it's had time to get a lot of software updates, fixed kind of like inefficiencies in terms of that. And so I wanted to really do this because I didn't have a crazy number of reference points that are current. And so here's a current one. Here's a person who's coming again from a Galaxy Watch 4 to a 7. Obviously, the 7 is thankfully with the 8 coming at all-time lows. I have a link in the description if you guys want to check it out. Amazon's pretty much price matching from what I've found all of the different options out there, whether it's Best Buy or whatever in terms of price. So for on the Canadian side, you're under $300 with no trade-in. Obviously, you can go through Samsung store if you are able to do a trade-in on your if you're doing a Galaxy Watch 4. I wasn't, so I literally got offered $0. So here I am doing the review of both. Speed wise, massively faster. I did find that like it's a fairly common thing for me to slide down the top menu closer at night and then hit the modes and put it into sleep mode before I'm putting the kids to bed. That way I'm not getting my phone vibrating, and it's just the fastest method to do that. But it was getting like, notably laggy. Get the screen on, literally like count a couple 1000s on my Galaxy Watch 4, slide down the top, hope it's not like lagging, and then hit the thing and then hit the sleep mode, and then that still took, a good few seconds to fully like register. And again, this is the kind of stuff that like when I'm not wanting to worry about in my day to day drives me crazy. There's nothing that can tilt me faster than like something loading super slow. And I know in my back of my head, I'm like, it's 2025. I can't believe this is a problem. And it was just becoming an annoyance. And so like, what is that annoyance worth in my day to day? Yeah, it's a few seconds, whatever. But like, it's going to slightly piss me off. And then it's going to take a few minutes to like be like, ugh, well, whatever, on you go, right? It's just something I don't need in my day. It's something I don't want to have to think about, something I don't want to have to worry about. So this is way faster, way smoother, way cleaner, and then it does have a notably brighter screen. I will say that between the two, it's kind of funny because this one, the older one, feels a little almost like a glossier screen, like a glassier screen. And sometimes, even though this is clearly like a glassy screen, I feel like it feels, I don't want to say muted, but like everybody's talking about how the color pops, the color pops, the color pops. And I think it does pop. Like the brightness is definitely there, but there's something about it that I just feel like feels less premium, but not premium. It just doesn't feel as clear and bright, even though on paper and everything else it is clearer and it is brighter, which take that with a grain of salt. It's not an issue though. It's still super bright, super fast, super clear, all of that. I would not change a thing. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's like not even an issue for anybody, and I'm the only person out here that's like, oh, that's weird. But that said, everything else on it, like the clickiness of the buttons, the sensors seem to be working fantastically. You will see some things about like, oh, well, this one has some of the certain like ECG stuff or your energy score stuff. And I did find like from recent updates on my Galaxy Watch 4, I did pretty much get all of those. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy and missing something, but those things were there on my previous model by the time the later updates all happen. So I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but that's kind of where it's at. In terms of battery life, again, that's the big one for me because I don't want to have to charge my watch every night. I don't want to have to be worrying about like, oh, can I even like try and do a workout or go for a run or whatever if this thing is just going to die on me for it. And generally what I found is I was getting maybe by the end, because it's, wearing down over time. I feel like the software updates slowly bog it down more as it's getting more long in the tooth. And I get it. But I would say probably like a day and a half, maybe 2 days, but that would be pushing it. Like, I don't like when it's like fully dead. There's nothing more annoying to me than when you go to look at it and then you're like, oh, it's actually dead. And I literally have just a dead black screen on my wrist like an idiot. So I would try to keep it like, charging regularly. I'm not the type, I would love to tell you that I'm the type, they're like, oh, I just throw it on the charger when I'm in the shower or whatever. I don't do that. But I would say that between the two, like I charged it Sunday night when I first got it up to, I think about 94%, took it off. And then I ran it basically from Sunday night at probably like 8 p.m. I want to say it was Wednesday later in the day when I was having to worry about recharging it again. Like the battery was getting low, which is stunning. For me, that's fantastic. It might even have been Thursday versus the previous. The other thing I will say is it definitely charges faster. That said, in what I read in reviews and stuff, it felt like a lot of people seem to know that it charges like way faster, and it's definitely faster, but it's not like a quick charge, like bam and you're done. Like you can throw it on for a few minutes and you're done. Like it's definitely still takes a minute if you've got it real low. I mean, if you were to do like supplementary kind of prophylactic charging, I could see that like it would be something that would give you a scenario that like I can just throw it on like when I'm in the shower and it'll be fine by the time I'm out of the shower as a steady ongoing stream, depending on how long you take. I think that would totally be possible with this. Whereas previously, like there was literally no point in doing that with the Galaxy Watch 4 because the charging was so slow that you're going to gain a few percent in your shower and it's going to die anyways because the battery life sucked. So I will say I don't have the same range anxiety that I did before. I'm so happy with the amount of range that I'm getting out of this thing. The battery life is fantastic comparatively, despite what I read that, oh, it's not quite as much of a jump as you'd hope. Maybe it's not, but from what I'm used to, it definitely feels like a notable increase. The speed charging is a notable increase. And so the combination of that, I think, is really worth the while for me on that alone. It's kind of funny because Samsung has started adding little features into their Samsung Health app that are locked to Galaxy Watch 8 only. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be anything that might jump from there, like the antioxidant scanner or some other thing. But it's like, whatever, it's all good. I feel like the sensors themselves are really solid. I feel like if I go for a run, they're very specific. They were pretty good on the Galaxy Watch 4 too. I just find the tracking maybe feels a little bit cleaner and maybe a little bit more precise. I feel like the energy score, they say obviously you got to watch out because your energy score could throw you off in terms of like almost like subconsciously just seeing, oh, I have a low energy score today, even though it might have read weird. I find that usually if I go to bed, I try to slide it up a little bit and then it gives me kind of a good solid reading through the night. I've tried the sleep apnea thing. I did it obviously on the Galaxy Watch 4 as well because that was an option. They both did well. It takes a couple days of listening through the night and then you're good to go. It'll let you know whether it thinks you have severe or not and give you all the disclaimers of this isn't health advice, blah, blah, blah. But it was decent. And I think in terms of the actual Samsung Health, like running tracking or like fitness tracking, it is really nice. I feel like you got your VO2s and all that kind of stuff in there, which again, I had on the Galaxy Watch 4, but I just feel like the speed of it, the clarity of it, it just feels like maybe it's a little more on point. And then it's nice because you can just kind of grab screenshots of all those screens and throw it over to ChatGPT and you're good to go. So I hope this helps out a little bit. I mean, again, there's all the other tech and all the other things, but I don't need to get into that. There's a million reviews that go over that. For my day to day, am I happy that I bought it? Yeah. I mean, my wife bought it, so I'm happy she bought it, so thank you to her. But I'm happy with it, super happy with it. If I was a little disappointed, I would definitely let you guys know, but I think it's a great purchase. I think it's awesome. You know, not so much necessarily for the Z Flip 6, but the actual Samsung Galaxy Watch 7, I'm a big fan of it. It's been great. It feels the same. I know the style of the 8 coming looks like they might be like flattening some of the edges. I think this looks like a nice watch face. I never was a big fan of like the more like rectangular square like Apple Watch feel. And so I generally lean into this. I do find too, like with it being the 44, I used the Pixel Watch for a while because like even though I'm a bigger guy, I find that like it starts to agitate my wrist if this is too wide. Like the bending of this kind of digs in and it kind of starts like bugging my ligaments or something. And I do find that the size of this is actually not bad. I'm not encountering with it, but I am getting a good size. I do find like that with the Pixel Watch, it is nice because you had the smaller, but then you had the crown, which could dig in, and it ended up looking maybe a little dinky on my arm comparatively. So I feel like this is like a decent size for it. It's not some huge face like the Ultra, but it does the job, and I got a really like a lot of screen real estate. It goes cleanly right to the edges, and I've never had any issue with things being off center. Some people ask about the green tint. Is there a green hint issue? I don't think I've ever encountered that. It's clean and easy, smooth, like straight to the edges all the way around. I think it's a great watch and I have no issues with it whatsoever. If I do have anything, I'll definitely throw up an update video. If you guys have any specific questions or anything, let me know. I'm happy to kind of dive into them and give you kind of like the Joe everyday perspective on it. But in terms of my day to day, I don't need to worry about it. I'm not finding it dead on my wrist all the time if I don't notice the battery's low and it's charging a lot faster. So I think it's a totally worthwhile purchase, especially now at all time lows, especially if you get a trade in value on your Galaxy Watch 4. But even if you don't, to get under 300 bucks Canadian for this thing is a great deal. And again, I'm sure even cheaper south of the border. So it's worth your while. I think it's worth jumping into. If you enjoyed your Galaxy Watch 4, if you like the round style, it's great. If you're not part of the Samsung ecosystem, maybe think twice unless you really want to get techie and try and find the third-party workaround and deal with that, which apparently does work. But if I had to dig into that, I probably wouldn't bother. So I hope this helps out, guys. If you have any questions, again, throw them down below. Thank you so much for stopping by. The usual likes and subscribes. Again, I'm going to keep this thing minimally edited because I want to actually enjoy doing this. And I feel like adding all the intro, outro, and everything has just been such a frustrating thing for me. And it's what puts me off doing these. And so I'm just going to start throwing these things out and giving you guys my opinion on them. And if you love it, great. If you don't, I appreciate you dropping by anyways. And I hope you guys take care. Thanks so much.